I'm Dixie with Vitality Natural Wellness, and you've just gotten your first peptides, and you're probably a little nervous about using them for the first time, and that is to be expected. So I'm going to help walk you through it, and you're going to feel like a pro in no time. So there's a couple of things you need to keep in mind when you first start using peptides. The first thing is don't ever shake your peptides. Be gentle with them. The next thing is always keep them cold. When you leave our office, you'll actually be leaving with an ice pack. And when you get home, you want to go ahead and refrigerate those. I brought in one today that we're going to demo, and you'll see that I have it in here with my ice pack. I'll go ahead and pull this out and show you my ice pack I have. So if you do travel, always carry your ice pack with you. Another thing that you need to become familiar with is your syringe. And this might be the thing that is kind of making you nervous right at first. So the thing I want you to remember is that this is 1 milliliter or 100 units. So 100 units equals 1 milliliter. If you got a pre-mixed peptide solution, it's much easier for you guys. You will look at your prescription, which is written right there on the box. And if it were to say that you are to inject 0.1 milliliter every night, then you will actually be drawing that plunger back to the 10 unit mark, because that would be 1/10 of a milliliter. Okay, we'll go over that a little bit more here in just a second. What I'm going to do today is mix up a peptide. We're going to do tesmorelin, and I'm going to show you how to prepare that and administer that. And so the mixing part, if you've got a pre-mixed peptide, you won't have to really pay much attention to the mixing portion. Yours is pretty easy, but the injection are all the same. Okay, so I've got my peptide out, and I've got the alcohol swabs that you left the office with, and of course my syringe. And in my box of peptides, I also got sterile water, and I'll be using that to mix up my peptide for administration. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out 2 of my alcohol pads, and you can just go ahead and open up those. I'm going to use one and set one over to the side where I can grab it in just a minute. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and use my alcohol swab to wipe off the tops. Both of these. I'm going to get my syringe out. I've already pulled the back cap off. Now I've pulled off the needle cap. So you'll see a very small needle is now exposed. I push my plunger all the way up, getting any air out. And the tesmorelin is going to call for 0.6 milliliters of sterile water to be mixed into my peptide. So that will mean that we will be pulling our plunger back to the 60 unit mark. One thing that's kind of easy to do is if you go ahead and pull it back to that mark, and then you take the needle and you put it right here in the center of that bullseye, a little circle in the middle. You can kind of push that air in, then you invert this, and it makes the pulling of the sterile water out just a little bit easier. And I'm just going to pull that down until I get that fill at exactly 60 units. I've already wiped the top down of my peptide, so now I'm going to take it and take my needle right into that bullseye area. I'm going to insert that, and then I'm just going to push down on my plunger, dispensing all that sterile water right into my peptide. Now, I want you to be gentle with your peptide. Don't vigorously shake as you might have seen with other medications to mix them. We don't want to do that. Be very gentle. You're just going to maybe roll it back and forth, and if you have any powder residue that you still see maybe stuck up here under this cap, just slide it on its side and maybe just very gently do this. The peptide will completely dissolve and be a clear liquid in not very long. What I'm going to do is this little area, you can see there's a label that goes almost all the way around, but it stops to leave some visibility right here. I can even set that down for a second and look back over at it. Once that's all clear and visible and I don't see any little particulate matter in there, then it's ready for administration. So now all I've got to do is draw it up. I'm going to go ahead and use the same alcohol pad, clean it back off again. Uncap my syringe, put my needle right in the center of that bullseye, invert it, and I'm going to pull back on this plunger and try to get everything out. Now I might not get an entire 60 units back out, and that's okay. I'm going to get as close to that as I can. Let's see, in this case I've got about 56 units, perfectly fine. Okay, this is drawn up, ready to go. I have no air in here. I'm going to take the alcohol pad that I've not yet used, and I'm going to, with this hand, hold my syringe and my alcohol pad, and I'm going to find a piece of area that I can easily punch up some fat. I'm going to hold that in that area. I'm going to clean this off in a circular motion, dispose my alcohol pad, take my needle, line it up in about a 45-degree angle, and once I see it, I'm going to go right in, hold on to it, push this plunger, and I can begin letting go as I'm pressing the plunger in. And once I'm done, I'm just going to dispose of my needle, and then we've completed our peptide injection, and you're all done. Good luck.